Is the reaction rate related to stoichiometry? Well, you don't want to take that too far, but the relative rates of one reactant to another, sure, they are related to the stoichiometry. And this typically shows up at the beginning of a kinetics unit. So let's consider a question. It says, in one experiment for this particular reaction, where we've got different exponents for everything, right? The rate of change of B was found to be 2.5 times 10 to the 4 molar per second. What's the rate of change of C in this experiment? Well, for every 3 of those that react, only 2 form. So it's going to be 2/3 as fast. So if you just multiply that by 2/3, you'll have your answer. Now, you can also worry about negatives and positive signs, but a better way is to say that the rate of formation of C is 2/3 that value. So here it is showed mathematically. You can do that. I think it's easier just to say it's going to be a little bit slower, and it's a 3-to-2 ratio. It's got to be 2/3, right? And so there it is. 2/3 of that number is 1.67 times 10 to the 4th molars per second. And here's the explanation that I just said. 2/3 the rate. And it's positive since the product being formed. I think if you word it carefully, you're better off doing it. Let's not get obsessed over positive and negative. Another thing, can those reaction coefficients be used as a tool to predict or modify the rate of the reaction? Those, no, they're going to be locked in. It will always be, the relative rates will always follow those ratios. However, the rate of a reaction can be modified other different ways, right? The reaction rates are always determined by experiment. You cannot use these formulas to predict the rate of a reaction. They'll only tell you the relative rates. There's some details in here that I wrote after I had studied the entire unit, and you might want to go back to this when you've taken a look at other topics such as rate law and things like that. And it talks about the different typical reaction experiments that people do to determine rate. Okay, this is a little bit about reaction rates and stoichiometry.